Hey everybody, welcome to this 2021 Dodge Durango RT. So this, of course, is the Hemi-equipped 5.7 liter V8 making 360 horsepower, 390 pound-feet of torque. There are two engine options above this one that come in the 392 Dodge Durango and, of course, the Dodge Durango Hellcat. But this RT was brought to us by First National Auto Group out of Merrimack, New Hampshire, priced at just under $27,000 US. Original starting MSRP is just about $50,000 US in, of course, 2021. So this is a very well-equipped vehicle. We have heated and cooled front seats, heated steering wheel, heated second row. We, of course, have a third row in this Dodge Durango. It's very usable too, but these things are just absolutely massive. We also do have Apple CarPlay in this 2021 Dodge Durango. It's wireless thanks to the Uconnect 5 system and this 10.5-inch touchscreen. So we have a good mix of infotainment along with some analog gauges here in our gauge cluster. And then, of course, lots of physical buttons for our HVAC controls, heated seats, tons of charging down here, including a wireless charging pad, and then a USB-C. There's basically, two combinations of that, and then an auxiliary port, which I'm so surprised to see one of those in a 2021 car. And so one thing that's thrown me off with the controls of this Dodge Durango is we only have one stock here that controls both our windshield wipers and then, of course, our turn signals. And so it's kind of weird to not have one on the right-hand side. I keep reaching for it, but I'd imagine if you drive one of these Dodge Durangos for a while, you would get used to it pretty fast. And so this example we have here today has 100,000 miles on it. I was honestly very curious to see what it would be like to drive one with, very high mileage. My mom had a 2004 Dodge Durango. I believe that one at the time they called it an SRT. I could be mistaken on that, but I'm pretty sure it's called an SRT, maybe SLT. I'll show a picture of what it would look like and confirm. But yeah, that one lasted 350,000 miles. And really, when she sold it, the only really genuine problem was the frame was rusting out. I mean, that thing just really stood the test of time. We did, I believe, replace the transmission at one point. I could be mistaken on that. I'll have to ask. Oh, wow. Plow's just going through. Okay. That's the second person in 2 weeks I've seen run a red light here in this exact spot. So just be careful when you're driving, guys. Just, look both ways, whatnot. I'm sure, the plow in his own way is justified, but last week it was just another car, so. But yeah, so with 100,000 miles on this thing, there's not tons of wear and tear going on, which I'm genuinely surprised about. There's no scratches on the steering wheel or on our infotainment stack or on any buttons. There's no wear. I've really kind of found that this thing is very durable in terms of the interior quality. I will say it does feel like very hard plasticky in here. It feels like a lot of these materials are cheap. So I guess really they kind of went for durability rather than the overall feel of luxury. We still have these, leather seats, which are very nice. It's quite plush, and I could see myself doing thousands of miles in this Dodge Durango with no issue there whatsoever. But I just kind of wish that American manufacturers kind of put a little more effort into feeling more high-end, especially with a $50,000 price tag. But the one thing I have found broken in this Dodge Durango is actually this sunroof here. And so it's just kind of like the shade is stuck to the glass. So you can open the glass, which I'll only do briefly because it's freezing outside. But yeah, just to show it does open. So yeah, I mean, that part is broken, but of course I will report it to First if they don't already know. They did just get this thing, and Ivan did warn me that, they're still kind of going through it. But I really did want to drive this thing today and show you guys, especially because of the high mileage on this Dodge Durango and my personal connection to this car with, it being our family vehicle for so many years. So overall ride quality is really good. All these little road imperfections, go over them with ease. You don't feel them whatsoever. This thing is very softly sprung. Steering is pretty good too. I will say it feels very light and vague, kind of like a Ram 1500, to be quite honest. And I mean, it's the same powertrain, so, very similar setup in that way, very similar philosophy. And speaking of, this thing is a 7,400 pound towing rate, so pretty good. You can definitely, tow stuff, and they have like a tow and go package that increases that too. So definitely look for that in the pre-owned market. If you are going to be towing something, I would say more than like 7,000 pounds, I would probably look for, that tow package. Oh, look, a Miata in the winter. That's awesome. And so interior styling, although I did kind of mention that things feel cheap in here, I do like that they only strictly put gloss black up here by the screen, because you're not really going to be touching this part. It's less prone to scratches. And then down here is just durable materials all throughout. Really nice and clean and scratch free, even after 100,000 miles, which is great. And last but not least, they included a screen off button, which I do appreciate. I feel like at night especially, some of these screens are just so bright, even in their dimmest settings. And so it's nice to be able to just kind of shut that off if you're not using it. On our steering wheel, we do have paddle shifters. They're only the top side, like there's no paddle that kind of extends to the bottom, which is kind of weird. It's just kind of like these very top prongs that you see here popping out. And then on our left hand side of the steering wheel, we can adjust what's in the screen. Of course, right now we have a recorded top speed of 93, not too bad. You can see lap history, a lap timer on your Dodge Durango, and how many G-forces it's peaked at, which is so funny that you have that showing in a family 3-row SUV. I think I would definitely consider tracking one of the Hellcat ones, but I don't know if I would put this RT to the test. And then down here we have the ability to hang up and take calls. And then on the right hand side is our general cruise control. We do have a row of blank buttons here on our steering wheel to remind us about the money we did not spend. But I think overall this is an attractive steering wheel. It's D-shaped, which I do like. And I think overall, Dodge did a good job at designing this RT. Exterior wise, the styling is my personal favorite, especially these LED daytime running lights. I just think they're gorgeous. And these aggressive hood vents paired with the white exterior color, and of course these dark wheels. I think this is the exact spec that I would choose if I were looking for one of these Dodge Durangos. Inside, of course, it's just black. We have black leather seats and some red trim that kind of goes along the dashboard there and on our seats themselves. Just think overall this is a very nicely designed and spec'd out Dodge Durango. So I can't speak to the long-term reliability of this Dodge Durango. I can really only kind of talk about the problems and the good things I see right here with it present in front of me and driving it with 100,000 miles. Overall, the powertrain feels really good. We couldn't really get on it today because of the snow, the inclement weather. I just wouldn't want to risk putting myself in a dangerous situation, especially in someone else's car. But yeah, I mean, overall this thing rides smooth, transmission shifts nicely. There are, a couple like minor issues, like for instance that, right? And I think they'll get it fixed. And we also do have a service airbag light on, and I'm sure they'll, fix that too. Maybe it's just a light that they forgot to reset. But needless to say, I really do like these Dodge Durangos. I will say that they are not very fuel economic. Miles per gallon rating is 17 combined. So you're really going to be itching for getting an EV after. I think that would be like the extreme, right? So just be careful if you get one of these. You're not going to be getting a very efficient vehicle. You're going to be getting a naturally aspirated 5.7 liter V8 with plenty of power, 360 horsepower, 390 pound-feet of torque. And it overall really sounds nice. It's got a good rumble to it. We can't really get on it, but yeah, with that being said, please let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm sorry this was kind of a shorter video today, but I still wanted to make content today, even though, the weather really does suck. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.